Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for coming to the Google Classroom Intermediate webinar. Woohoo! My name is Rosie Castle, and I'm here with Larissa Uceda.
Hi, everyone.
And we're going to go ahead and get started. So a couple of things that we want to talk about is, first of all, we just want to double check and make sure that you have created or at least gotten started with a class in Google Classroom. And
because it is the intermediate, so we're building on that classroom.
And then we, to get us going, we want to make sure that you have clicked the play button to start the webinar, so that way you can see what we're doing on your screen. And then on the discussion board area, we'd like for you to type hello and your school that you're currently working at.
And this is my baby today. I'm on discussion board. Rosie's doing the talking, and I'll be answering and manning the discussion board.
And if for some reason you do happen to have any problems with the discussion board, you can text Larissa. We're trying to keep her very busy over there. You can text her using your phone with the phone number that's right here on the screen at 831-6068. Or you can also email Larissa using, just the regular district email. Okay? So again, you're just saying hello and what school you work at. That's just getting us all logged in here. And to refresh this discussion board window, you do click on the window and you press F5, because you don't want to think you're the only one out there. You want to see what other people are posting in the discussion board. If there's any technical difficulties, please reach out to Larissa while we're going. Okay.
We had a couple questions on sound, but I think it was before we started, so I'm assuming you're right. My cell number is up at the top, that 831-6068. So I'm assuming if anybody's having problems, they'll text me or put it in the discussion.
Okay, so we're going to try to keep going here. Okay, so the wonderful things that goes on with Google, and especially with Google Classroom, is there's always updates going on. And Google is always listening to the feedback they're getting back from their users and from teachers like you. And some of the most recent new things in Google Classroom is the way you can organize the post in your stream. And one of the new features is that maybe you've put some new post in there, but you want to move something back up to the top. And so the way you can do that is with those three little dots. Before, all you could do is edit or delete. And now when you click on those three dots, they have the feature of move to the top. And so that makes it where it moves it all the way to the very top of your stream, which is a very nice feature. Helps with organizing. And then another feature that they added is to reuse a post. This is so nice. A very nice feature that they added into Google Classroom. So I'm going to jump over to my Google Classroom and we can look at that. And so what they have here, and this is another one of those new features, down here in the bottom right-hand corner is the plus sign. So when you click on that, you still are able to make announcements. You can make your assignments. But up here at the top is reuse a post. So if I click on reuse a post and say I want to reuse a post from my Google Class training, I select the class, and then I want to use this assignment that I created. You can see I created it a while ago, but I want to reuse that. And I click reuse. So it's going to pop up here, and I want to check it and make sure, is everything the same? And here's another new feature that they added. If I don't want a due date, I can turn that off. Or I can turn it on and select the due date that I want and click save. That saves the date. Now remember that before, if you have anything attached, you want to make sure you select that before you assign it. So that was reusing a post. I chose the class, then I chose the assignment, I looked it over, I did my due date, and then I assigned it. So here it is inside my class. So I did the plus, I did reuse, and all those steps. A wonderful new feature from all those things that maybe you created last year. Maybe you're going to create this year and want to reuse the next year. Okay, so now some more wonderful things that we have going on here. Let me jump down. Google Forms. They have made it so easy for you as a teacher to easily attach the form and open the response sheet for you. Now on the student side, they have made it very easily so that when a student submits the form, it automatically marks it done. So that's something that we're going to look at in just a second. And then to post a question for your students. It's sort of like using questions to drive discussions in your class. So that's something we're going to jump over to our Google Classroom and look at in just a second. And so let me jump over there.
Rosie, we just got a little feedback that you know, you won't be able to read everything because the window is small. So we understand that, and because we want you to have the chat open,
Yeah.
and you're not going to be able to go full screen on the video. But Rosie will try to narrate it, and it's not perfect, but
Right. But you can also shrink down the size if you do have your, what is that bar over there called that they can shrink down?
that right, the one you collapse.
The collapse bar over there on the left-hand side next to the video, you can collapse that down so that you can just have the video over on the left and your discussion over on the right. Or maybe you want to put the discussion away for a little while so that maybe you can make your video bigger.
Yeah, that would be fine because we'll definitely stop and have you post.
Yes. So the first thing I wanted to look at was a Google form. And so I've already created the assignment. I just need to attach it. And so remember, just to create the assignment, I go to the plus. I clicked on create an assignment. So I've got everything sitting here. I just need to add the Google form. To add a Google form, I'm going to go to my Drive. And here is my form sitting here. I'm going to select it, add it. It says it's a Google form. That helps me out. Make sure I've got my due date in here, and I click Save. Now this is something that's really helpful as the teacher. The answer sheet. So that way I don't have to go dig through my Google Drive to find it. The answer sheet's right here. So that way I can quickly see the answers. Very helpful. The other thing that I mentioned that's new is the questions. So if I'm going to pose a question to my class, I click on the plus, I create a question. So if in my class I'm reading a book with my class and I want to create a reading reflection, and I tell my students to tell in your own words how the setting of the story made it more interesting. Now, this is what makes asking the question so unique. Right now, when I click Ask, I have options. Do I want my students to see and reply to each other's answers? That's what makes it more of a discussion. I can click Ask. Or I could uncheck this, and that's what makes it more like a check for understanding, because I'm the only one that's going to see their answers as the teacher. Or it makes it like a ticket out the door.
I think they really listened to people's feedback because they really people were saying they wanted a discussion board or these features.
Exactly. So here's what the question looks like. Okay, so I'm going to leave these in here. So that way whenever we jump over to the student side, you can see what they look like. Okay, so that was several different things and how they look for the new parts. Now here is another new one. I couldn't believe that we're actually getting this one in here also. A calendar inside of Google Classroom really helps with the organization piece. So now let's see how this one actually works.
New feature in Google Classroom that many of us have been waiting for. It has finally arrived, and it is Google Calendar integration. So to access the calendar, you can do it two ways. You can come up here to the upper left and you can click on that triple line menu, and ta-da, there it is. Calendar is right there. So you can click on calendar and it brings you to a week's view, so you can see all of the assignments that are due. This was an assignment right here that I posted. It's called a test of calendar integration. I actually found out calendar was released sooner than I actually had access to it, but that assignment, since the last time I looked at it, was actually added to my calendar. So I'm really excited about this new update to Classroom. It's something that we've all been waiting for. What's nice is you can click on this drop-down menu right here. You can see I'm in all kinds of classes that my colleagues have made me a student of. So I could look at my chemistry class. I have a lab due today. Then I could filter it by my British literature class. I can see what's due there. This is my help desk class. Like I said, I can scroll over. I can see if anything else is due anytime soon. There's an assignment on the 7th that's due for the help desk students. So this is awesome, and like I said, it's something we've been waiting for. I'm super excited that it's finally here. The other way you can access your calendar, I'm going to head back over into classes, is I can go into a class. So I'm going to click on test class, and you can also access the calendar by clicking on your about page. So as you can see right here, I haven't added any materials yet because this was just simply a test class, but I can view it I can view the calendar right in Classroom by clicking there, and I am pushed over into the calendar view. So again, that's how you would access the calendar, from either your about page or from that triple line menu. Again, highly intuitive, easy to use for all of us busy teachers and students, and this is one more fabulous update to Classroom.
Okay, so yes, just as Larissa mentioned, these are some wonderful things, and it shows us that Google is actually listening to us. So let's jump over and find out some other things that we can actually do in that About section that we have in our class. So I'm talking about, if this is the Stream tab, then we've got our Students tab. It's that last tab, the About tab. And before I jump over into my classroom, I want you to be thinking about, if you're working with multiple teachers in your classroom, or you have multiple teachers that you want to be able to see your assignments or access to your students' work, that's one place that you want to be able to do this, add them to your classes in the About section. Or if you want to add links or resources to your class that you don't want in the stream, this would be another place to go in the About section. So I'm going to jump over to the class, and that way you can see where all of this happens. So I'm going to go to the About section, and down here you can see that here are some links that have been added. A PDF as just a resource. Here's a link. So different types of ideas of things that you could add. So let's say if I was working on a research project with my students on biomes for science, if I had already done some gathering of some resources for the students and it was in my Google Drive, I could go get that folder from my Google Drive. Or if I just wanted to add a link. So if I have a teacher resources link and I need to get that link, so this is the link I want to share out. It's called opened.com. I'm going to paste it in and click add and post. and it will post it right there. And that way it's there easily for the students and it doesn't get lost in the stream for them. Okay, so that's another way you could share information. So what I did is I clicked on add materials and it quickly is easily accessible right there in the about. If there's something I wanted to get rid of, all I do is click the 3 dots and I hit delete. Okay, now I mentioned also this in the about section is where you would invite a teacher. As you can see, I was the creator of the class. I had invited Larissa. And you can see you do have to have that teacher's ID number. So you would click invite, and maybe I want to invite Randy Shank. And as you can see, I'm not pulling up Randy Shank's ID number, so I would need his ID number, okay? That's very important. So make sure that when you invite the teacher that you do have their employee ID number, okay? Now we're going to jump over and look at some fun things, and this is something you can do as the teacher, because you see that Larissa and I have some pictures up here for us. And so this is something you can do in your settings. And so to get to your settings, you click on the menu, which kind of looks like the hot dogs, the 3 lines, and you go down to the very bottom, click on settings, and right here where it says change profile picture. Okay, and then it says web camera. So obviously, like Larissa did, if you want to take a picture of yourself, and you have to allow, hi everyone, hi, and then you click take snapshot, and if this is the one you want, you would set it as your profile picture.
You weren't smiling, Rosie.
Oh, I have to take another one? Okay, is that one better?
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking down though. Before I know it, I'm going to have like 10 selfies here. And then it would change your picture here. This is also where this is defaulted so that every time there's a comment made in your classroom, it will send you an email notification. That's defaulted to be on. So after you do this, you can click back on your 3 lines and you can go back to your classes. Okay, so just wanting to have some fun there. And that's something that you could do with your kids. So that way they could, you know, just personalize themselves inside of Google Classroom. Okay, so now let's jump back over, and now that we've seen all the fun new things we have going on, let's think about some collaboration ideas. So what types of assignments could you use this collaborative feature with? We want you thinking about this because this is one of the first things we're going to be showing you. We have had lots of people asking us over the last, I would say, school year about how could they use collaboration in Google Classroom. And so that's one of the reasons why Larissa and I'd like to show this. And so while I'm going through this is we want you thinking about these questions. Is what types of assignments could you use collaboration in your classroom, and maybe how could you use it in Google Classroom? How's it going over there, Larissa?
Good. We have people are just hanging out, a few questions, but couple issues with the discussion board, but I think most people are on and doing well.
Okay. So right now in Google Classroom, collaboration and group assignments is not a feature. And yes, we are repeatedly asking for them to add this, but right now it's not. And so you can create an assignment where you have students working together, and this is one way you could do it. So I already have an assignment from last year. So what I'm going to do is use that great feature. I'm going to come down to the plus. I'm going to reuse a post, and it is in this class. I'm going to click select. It is a writing collaboration assignment. I am going to reuse it. Just want to double check it. Yep, everything looks like it's the same. I want to change my due date. It's for the end of the month. And I want to assign it. Okay. So now that it's been assigned, I'm going to jump over and I'm going to be Sarah, my student. Okay, hi Sarah. Okay, so this is Sarah. And we know it's Sarah because up here in the right-hand corner it says Sarah the student. And so Sarah has an assignment that she has to write collaboratively. I can work collaboratively to research and write an essay on the rainforest. She has to work with an assigned partner. Well, her assigned partner is going to be Joe Student. And so she and Joe Student have to write an essay. They're going to work together on this. And Sarah is going to be the group leader. So Sarah is going to create the new document. She has to make sure to put both partners' names in the file name. She has to share the document with Joe, her partner. But Joe has to go to his Google Drive to find the file. And then Sarah's going to be the one that turns in the document. Okay? Because we had to figure out what's a way that we could do this within Google Classroom, but that the work would still get turned into the teacher. And then we're going to mark it done. It'll be marked done, but in the comments box, we're going to put Sarah and Joe's names. So let's see how all this works. Hope they're going to hang in here with me, right, Larissa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to open this. This is a whole new layout, the way it looks. Okay, and I have to add the document, which is different.
So now it's add or create.
Yes. So here's the document. I love the way it automatically names it for the kids. Okay. And I like the way it has the steps right there above it for me. Okay. So I created it as Sarah. Now I have to make sure to put both partners' names in the file name. So I do have to open it. Okay. I have Sarah's name, but I need to put Joe's name up here. So Joe Student. And we know we always have to have a heading on our paper. So Sarah and Joe. And we're working on the rainforest. Okay. I'm going to go back to that assignment and see what else I need to do. It says Sarah needs to share the document with Joe. Okay. So that means we'd have to talk about sharing. Okay, it's very important. Sharing's caring. So we type in Joe. There he is. We're going to send it to him. We want to make sure that Joe can edit it so Joe can work on it. And we're going to send it to him. Okay. So now after Joe goes and finds it in his drive, that way they can work on it together. Then Joe goes and finds it. Sarah's the one that gets to turn in the document because Sarah's the one who created the document. She's the one that has that turn in button. Okay. So we're going to click turn in and turn in. Now this looks a little different because before there was that comment button down there. But this is not where you want to put the comment because this goes to the whole class. Down here is the private comment. So down here, you're going to say, this is Sarah and Joe's work.
And whenever a student leaves that comment, the teacher gets a notification. So it's kind of nice if you do have them leave a comment.
Okay, so now the work's been turned in and they made the comment so the teacher can see exactly whose work this is. Okay, so now let's go back over to the teacher's side.
Rosie, can you give them, You're gonna have them comment on this after?
Exactly.
Okay.
So be thinking about how could you use collaboration in your classroom? What projects might you want to use? What steps might you need to pre-teach before doing this? So here I am in the teacher's Google Classroom, and I see I've got one turned in. That means one group of partners turned in. So I'm going to click on this so I can see. Oh, this is a new layout too. All these new updates that they've done.
Everything's new, Rosie.
It's a new school year.
Yeah.
Thanks to Google, all these new things. But I really like the way it's laid out here.
Yeah, it's much easier.
Much easier. I can quickly see whose work's done. I can quickly grade it over here to the side. They've organized done versus not done. Now I want to change the points possible up here at the top. It's the same way as it was before. I want to change it to a 4. Update it. Okay. So I want to look at this paper because I might want to give them some feedback right there on the document. Okay, so I'm going to open it up. Oh, I see that Sarah and Joe have started, but you know what? If this is their title, I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to make a comment on that. It's a good way to give them immediate feedback. Okay, it's a nice start. Try to be more creative.
And productive.
Okay, so now hopefully they're going to come back in and try to get exactly more work done. Okay, but I also, and I can see over here this private comment that Sarah and Joe made, that letting me know that even though it says it's Sarah's student, it's actually Sarah and Joe's work. So I'm going to give them a 1 for now, and I'm going to return this to them. Can you think of anything else?
No, I think this is nice that you showed this because commenting will be part of the online class too.
Okay.
I'm curious how the group is going to, what ideas they have about collaborative
Exactly.
assignments.
So let's jump right over there and let's hear from the group. Okay, so what types of assignments could you use this collaborative feature with? Or do you think this would work in your classroom? Maybe you want to tweak this or that. Let's just hear from you. Well, it looks like this did get a lot of you thinking, and you do have a lot of great ideas. We really came across several good ideas.
So the research, a few people talked about research, and I think Karen talked about having a graphic organizer that each student is responsible for filling in parts of the research. I like that. Other Google Slides projects, and we had some discussion about math projects also.
Yes. We are researching and getting more resources to support your math, and not just showing their work, but also having the students explain it verbally and written. So we're not forgetting about all of our math teachers out there. Okay, so we just wanted to share this with you guys because we know that drawing the students in with collaboration is an important piece here. And since Google hasn't built that in yet, we're just trying to find more ways that we can do that. So let's move on and let's look at some things that we have built into the online component. A couple of examples here is we're going to have you converting Word docs into Google Docs and using those maybe in an assignment, converting PowerPoints to Google Slides. Because we know that one of the things that's really nice about Google Classroom is whenever you're not using paper. Using everything digital is very nice. And then also it's very important to be using the feature whether students can just view the file, students can edit the file, they could be working collaboratively on something, or making it for each student. Not forgetting about this step when you are creating an assignment, and not forgetting that whenever you do create the assignment, you need to take care of this step before you assign it. That's a very important step, because when you go back to edit it, you can't do this step again. You have to recreate the whole assignment. So that's some of the work you're going to be doing in the online component of the PD. Okay, so this is one of the parts that I actually love. I have fallen in love with the Google Classroom app, and I know there's lots of teachers out there that have also. It is very important that if you start using the Google Classroom app, or your students start using the Google Classroom app, down here in this bottom corner, that you have the whole Google Classroom suite, okay? The Google Classroom, the Drive, Chrome, Docs, Slides, if you're using Sheets, that you have them all. Because if you want to open a doc or you want to write in a doc, you need the Docs app. You need Drive because that's where you're storing things. If you're going to work with Slides, you need the Slides app. So make sure that you get the whole suite. Okay, so we're just going to watch a quick video, and we want you thinking while you're watching the video, for the Google Classroom app, is it a way for students to, how could students use it? Or is it a way that teachers could, how could maybe teachers use it? Okay, so we're just going to watch this quick video. In this video, we're going to be looking at uploading video and pictures to Google Classroom using our iPad or our smartphones. So first thing, you must have the Google Classroom app downloaded from the App Store or from the Google Play Store. And then next, you just take your video or your pictures. And so we're just going to go to our photos. I'm going to click on the share button at the bottom. Click on next. I'm going to slide over. And Google Classroom is one of your choices here. Now, if you haven't chosen Google Classroom before, you would go to More. You would go down until you see Google Classroom. You would click on the toggle and it would turn green. Click Done. Okay. So now that you've chosen the video or the picture you want to select, you click on Google Classroom. Now I'm logged in as a student, and I'm going to select the assignment that I want to attach this movie to. I want to attach this to assignment number 5, Rainforest, and I'm going to click attach. Now that the video or picture has been attached, I'm going to open up my Google Classroom app. I'm going to go to the class, open it. That was assignment number 5. These are the directions. I'm going to go to your work. And down below, I can see that my work is attached, my movie is now attached, and I've written in the private comment. So I'm going to resubmit the work. Now I've gotten the green check mark saying that everything is done. Okay, so what I find so interesting about this is students can be so engaged. Teachers, what could we be doing with this? Okay, that's what, I mean, I don't want to give you all the answers here. I wanted you to be thinking of what we could be doing this and what could our students be doing with this? What are some ways that we could possibly engage them outside of class? Okay, think about all those smartphones, all those devices out there. So in the discussion board, if you could post what is a way that maybe that Google Classroom app could engage your students more, or what is a way that maybe that Google Classroom app could make it more productive for you? Maybe not through the picture, maybe, let's see what you can think of. I'll give you a minute to post. I just want to remind you that on the discussion board, to refresh the window, just make sure you click on the window and you press F5. That way you can see what other people are posting, or if you're kind of stuck and you're trying to think of things, that way you can read what other people are posting. It's probably going to take about another minute, and then we're going to read what some other people have written down. Okay, it looks like we have some great ideas that several people have posted. So Larissa's going to share them with us.
I love it. I like there's all of them are good, but interview an elderly family member and then post right into Google Classroom. Students create a wrap to review a concept. That's awesome. That's totally engaging. Could create and post their own original media.
Yes.
Also take selfies and post it in their poem. It's great. You guys have awesome ideas. Just relevant videos or pictures to whatever the content is for the teacher and the student. So awesome.
Exactly. So many times our students feel so disconnected to what we're asking them to do. And it just seems like with this Google Classroom app, it's such a way to connect with them more and what's going on with them. And I just feel like it's a much better way to engage them and build those connections. Inside the class, on the online portion, there is a video and for the teacher component. I just wanted to see if we could
Good morning.
get your ideas on ways to engage your students. So now we're going to move on and talk about a tip of the day.
Rosie, can I just interrupt real quick?
Sure.
Back when we were talking about collaboration, there was a really good question, and I think it's worth talking about. What if 3 students are working on a project and one of them accidentally or inadvertently deletes all the work? So we are in the Google environment, and they don't have to freak out because under File, Revision History in Slides or Google Docs, you can pull up the previous version, which is a great feature of the Google environment. So that was a great question because you know that happens by accident.
Mm-hmm. And so that while Larissa was talking, I was trying to go through the steps to show you. In our department, we've had to actually go back and look at a couple of things just so we could track some things that's happened. So again, I went to File, see Revision History. It actually shows you who was logged in, what time they were logged in, and if I wanted to go back to that time point, and I can restore it to that revision, which is very nice. Okay, so just so you get some ideas that it does track the history of everything that's going on in that document for you. So lots of very, very useful information here. Thanks a lot, Larissa. Okay, so tip of the day. Because you do have your RCSD one-to-one Gmail account now, we had some people asking us, is there a way that I can forward, because I don't want 2 separate email accounts. Is there any way I can forward my Gmail to my district email? And yes, there is. I don't want to walk through all the steps today, but inside the online component, there is a handout with all these directions in it in the resources inside there. But you would go to your mail, you'd click on the 9 dots, go to mail, then you would click on this gear, go to settings. Inside of settings, you would want to forward this. Then you would have to put in your forwarding information. And something that's very important is I would click that you want to archive the information. Okay, that's very important because archiving it means you're actually saving it, you're not deleting it, you're not just marking it, you're not just keeping it, but you're archiving it. That way, if in case something ever happened, there is access to it. So this is our tip of the day. So that way, all of your Gmail one-to-one account, actually you are getting access to it in your district email. Okay, it looks like you guys are keeping Larissa's busy over there. That's good. Keep us going. Okay.
Can I
Yes,
there was
you can.
another thoughtful post about, I'm afraid, what my students are going to post with videos. And I just wanted to clarify that you could have them just submit in an assignment. I mean, you can have them post to the stream, but you could also have them post as an assignment. And then when some of those videos are probably going to be amazing, so you could then add those to an announcement or an assignment for other students to view them.
I'm so glad that everyone's thinking about
Yeah.
this. Okay, just because remember, that's why I jumped back over into the classroom, is that under your students tab, this is where you as the teacher can control who can post, who can comment, okay? Because this is where you have control of that. You can control whether students can post and comment, students can only comment, or only you as the teacher can post and comment. So I love the way Larissa pointed that out and said maybe you're only having them submit it to you. Okay, so that's a wonderful example of that. Great ideas out there. Okay, so at the end of last year, we had a teacher saying, you know, I have all these classes sitting here on my dashboard in Google Classroom, and I don't want all of them showing up here. And so some of the teachers decided that they wanted to archive their classes. And so they came up here and they went to archive. And it's like it saved it and it didn't delete it. But now maybe you want to restore that class, bring that class back. And so if you click up there on the 3 lines, sort of like the hot dogs, and you come down to the bottom where your archived classes are, you see how they've got the shaded out? And if I want to bring that class back to my dashboard, I click my 3 dots and I click Restore. Okay, so now it's back. Now you also could see that maybe there was a class here that I actually did not ever want. So if it's in my archived classes, I can click the 3 dots and click delete. Then I can actually really forever delete. It's gone. Bye-bye, gone. Okay. So we've been talking about how Google listens to teachers and they are doing what we want overall. Now to get that feedback to Google, down here in this bottom left-hand corner, there's a question. And it's called Send Feedback. So I clicked on the question mark, Send Feedback. This is where you get that feedback to Google. So if there's a feature in here that you are really looking for, such as collaboration, we type that in. Collaborative feature with students. I click Next. I click Next. And see, they grabbed my screenshot so they could actually see what I'm talking about, and I'm going to submit it. It's sent off. They're actually looking at all of this, the creators of Google Classroom, and they're listening to us. Because believe it or not, when this first came out, Larissa and I were noticing things and we were like going, oh, I really hope that they make it where more than one teacher can be in the class. And we were doing this class, and then 2 weeks later, we came in here to do a webinar, and there it was. We were so excited. So you never know what's going to be here. How's it going over there?
Good.
Okay, I think we're almost ready to wrap it up.
Perfect timing.
Yay. Okay, so we just need from you guys one thing you've learned or a question you have about Google Classroom. If you can post that in the discussion board for us. And then we'll be done, and we'll be sitting here for probably about another 5 or 10 minutes. You can post anything in the discussion board, but we do need one thing you've learned or a question you have as your ticket out the door. And other than that, Larissa and I will see you online.
So again, we still have a week now to do the online component of the class.
Okay. And don't hesitate to email us, ask questions while you're working through the class, and we hope you have a good evening. Just don't forget to do your ticket out the door.